Hi there and welcome to Juicy Celeb Talks. Imagine this scenario: it's July 6, 2024, and Sonya Massie is at home with her family, going about what seems like a typical day. Everything feels normal until she hears a noise outside that frightens her. In response, she calls 911, expecting help from the police. But what Sonya doesn't know is that this call will turn her world upside down. In what seems like the blink of an eye, Deputy Sean Grayson arrives at the Massie residence, and suddenly, the situation becomes intensely tense. Sonya likely thought that the presence of a law enforcement officer meant she would be safe. However, she couldn't have been more wrong. The details of what transpired next are shocking, to say the least. The events that unfolded in those crucial moments not only changed the Massie family's lives forever but also served as a poignant reminder of the fragility of trust in those sworn to protect us. In the courtroom, the atmosphere was thick with silence as everyone awaited the start of the body camera footage. The Massie family sat there, bracing themselves for the worst. When the footage began, it showed Deputy Grayson arriving at the house. Sonya, probably still under the impression that help had arrived, soon found herself the target of Grayson's fury. Instead of providing assistance, Grayson began yelling at her, treating her as if she were a criminal. The situation escalated quickly as Grayson, in a threatening tone, told Sonya, "You better not, or I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in the face." The idea that a police officer, someone who is supposed to protect and serve, could speak to a frightened woman like that is hard to believe. In the courtroom, the Massie family was visibly shaken. Sonya's mother trembled, and her father looked like he was ready to leap out of his seat, while her children cried uncontrollably. It was a heart-wrenching scene, but what came next was even worse. The body camera footage showed Sonya apologizing and trying to take cover, clearly terrified. And then, without warning, Grayson shot her multiple times. One of the bullets hit her squarely in the head. It was brutal, swift, and utterly shocking. But what truly left everyone in the courtroom in disbelief was what happened after the shooting. Grayson didn't try to help Sonya or call for medical assistance. Instead, he coldly stated, "No, she's done. You can get it, that's a headshot," as if he were discussing a video game, not the life of a real person he had just ended. The Massie family was beyond devastated. They were furious, heartbroken, and desperate for answers. How could this have happened? How could someone call for help and end up dead? Ben Crump, the well-known civil rights attorney, highlighted the significance of the body cam footage. He pointed out that, without it, the world might never have known the truth about what happened to Sonya Massie. This video is not only crucial for the Massie family but also for the broader fight for justice. People are outraged, they're taking to the streets, demanding accountability, and even the highest offices in the country are taking notice.
This case is no longer just about Sonya Massie. It's about every Black person who has ever been afraid to call the police for help. It's about every police officer who thinks they can act with impunity. It's about a system that desperately needs to be reformed. And as we delve deeper into Deputy Sean Grayson's past, it becomes clear that the issues run much deeper than this one tragic incident. Grayson's history is more chaotic than you could imagine. He has jumped from job to job, working at 6 different law enforcement agencies in just 4 years. Most people don't change hairstyles that often, let alone jobs in such a short time. This isn't about finding the right fit, it's about a man who couldn't hold down a job. And why couldn't he? Well, buckle up, because this is where it gets even more disturbing. Grayson was dishonorably discharged from the U.S. Army for what they termed misconduct. Now, the military doesn't just discharge people without good reason, so this must have been something serious. But there's more. Grayson didn't just have one DUI, he had two, one in 2015 and another in 2016. Despite this, he was still hired as a deputy. You have to wonder who was doing the hiring and whether they even bothered to check his background. It's baffling. And it doesn't stop there. While working for the Kincaid Police Department, Grayson was let go because he refused to live within the required jurisdiction. If he couldn't even follow a basic rule about where he was supposed to live, how was he expected to make life and death decisions on the streets? Despite all these red flags, the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office still decided to hire him. They claimed that there was nothing in Grayson's background that suggested he would commit such an act and that they handle thousands of calls each year without incident. But this is the same man who had been kicked out of the military, caught driving drunk twice, and fired from multiple jobs. Yet he was given the authority to patrol our streets with the power to make life or death decisions. At one of his previous jobs, Grayson was even required to take high-stress de-escalation classes because he had trouble following orders during a vehicle pursuit. They knew this man had issues making decisions under pressure, and yet they still put him on the streets. The Massie family is in shock, and who can blame them? Sonia's father, James Wilburn, said it best: this man, Grayson, should have never had a badge, and he should have never had a gun. And he's absolutely right.
But this isn't just about Grayson, it's about a broken system. If someone like Grayson can slip through the cracks, how many other bad cops are out there, wearing badges and carrying guns? The Massie family has been through hell, but they're not backing down. They've gone from mourning to standing tall and demanding justice. It's as if they've found a strength they didn't even know they had. Remember how they were falling apart while watching that body cam footage? Well, now they're out there, making noise and shaking things up. They've been holding rallies, talking to the press, and making sure everyone knows Sonia Massie's name. It's like they've transformed from grieving family members into warriors for justice. At one of their rallies, Sonia's father, James Wilburn, stood before the crowd with fire in his eyes, demanding justice. He wasn't just asking for it, he was demanding it. And the crowd was right there with him, chanting Sonia's name like a battle cry. In the wake of these events, the Massie family, along with countless supporters, continue to rally for change. This tragic incident has sparked a broader movement, with people across the nation demanding justice not only for Sonya Massie but for all victims of police brutality. It's no longer just a local issue, this has become a national outcry reverberating through communities, town halls, and even the corridors of power in Washington, D.C. Activists are mobilizing, organizing protests, and pushing for legislative reforms like the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, which aims to address and prevent incidents of police misconduct. The Massie family's strength and resilience have turned their grief into a powerful force for change, inspiring others to stand up and fight for justice and accountability. The case of Sonya Massie has shed light on systemic issues within law enforcement, prompting discussions on how to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The fight is far from over, and as the legal battle continues, the Massie family remains unwavering in their pursuit of justice. They are determined to ensure that Sonia's death will not be in vain and that it will lead to real, lasting change. The outcome of this case could set a precedent for how cases of police misconduct are handled in the future, making it a pivotal moment in the ongoing struggle for racial justice and police reform in America.